Okay, so firstly, a little bit of background. I come from the white hat agency world, so the first thing I would have done is, having worked in that, for being an employee for other companies for like 5 years, I would have done it sooner. I'd already picked up all the knowledge I needed and all the contacts I needed to go independent. I wish I'd done it sooner, first of all, and secondly, I was lucky enough to win quite a lot of business very quickly, and I grew too fast. There were things that should have been in place before I took on more staff. So we've got an office in the UK with full-time employees who, a lot of them are graduates, and we've trained them from scratch. The growth was too fast to be fully controlled. So looking back, I wish I'd slowed that down, because we've paid the price for that now with processes and routines just not being in place and staff not having the direction that they needed. So I wish I'd perfected all of that initially, but at the same time that may have held me back. People, what do they say, done is better than perfect, so it's a catch-22, but for me that was the biggest thing, is just growth too fast anyway. James?
So I wouldn't have actually done SEO. I would have ranked YouTube videos and just become a YouTube star straight away, because back when I first started making YouTube videos was when YouTube actually was just taking off, and back then 1 million views would get you like $20,000 in ad revenue, and very easily me and Todd Foster actually did do several videos that, without actually realising it, we well optimised the video to then rank in YouTube search for like gaming related keywords, which were at the time were just blowing up. And if we'd actually focused on that instead of focusing on like micro AdSense sites and private ReShep servers and just stupid little side businesses, we probably would have been able to scale and make what we now have considerably faster. So I would have focused more on YouTube platform, and number two as well, it's so much cheaper to rank inside of YouTube than it is to rank an actual website, and I wasted probably a good $50,000 to $8,000 when I was first starting out over the first 2 or 3 years, just on like testing and learning things. And like, I know you're supposed to learn from your mistakes, but I probably wished I hadn't have learned from a $50,000 mistake over like the course of like several years using like poor PBNs or something, and then just very little things as well. Like before, when I was really first starting, I was speaking to Todd, and Todd jokingly told me that he'd built these links through GSA and they were PBN links. But obviously I didn't know that these PBN links, so I spent 6 months trying to figure out how the fuck he managed to build these links in GSA, and then I eventually asked him like, how did you do in GSA? Like, I can't find it. And he was like, I was joking the entire time, and I was just there like, wow, okay. I've just spent 6 months trying to figure out how he's making these links in GSA, and like, it was just a joke the entire time. So yeah, I would have probably focused more on YouTube, and then also less mistakes. Well, not really, but I'm helping other people do it as well, and like, I've seen some of their growth, and I kind of wish I'd jumped on the bandwagon a bit sooner. But me and Todd did used to have a YouTube channel that did like 1 million, 2 million views every month at that point. It was a gaming channel where we just pay other people to make videos for us.
With so many views like that, would you not look to... Have you ever done anything on YouTube ads?
Yeah, so, well, not YouTube ads, but further monetising those videos. Yeah. We saw way higher conversion rates by doing Amazon product reviews on YouTube videos than we did on doing Amazon product reviews on physical web pages, because people just like stay in tune way more with the video content than they are with like a random review page of 3,000 words by some, like some Indian writer or something. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm going to take it.
Mr. Walker?
I haven't much to say, mate. Short and sweet for me, really. I think the only thing I'd now do differently if I was starting out again. Excuse me. I've not paused it, have I? Just pressed the button.
You're good.
We're still rolling. What would I do differently? I think I'd probably get stuck into networking a lot faster this time. So into the networking side of things. I know you're a big big networking ambassador, sociable Dooley. For the simple reason that I probably spent the best part of 3.5 to 4 years of doing SEO when I first started, not really knowing what I was doing. So basing all of my actions, everything I build out on something that could be bad information. You know, I was teaching myself SEO from Google, which is Google and trial and error, which is effectively how I learned most of the basics. But I'd say 90% of what I know I've only learned over the last year through networking. You know, you can use everybody else really to sound out, run a bullshit test. What do you guys think about this piece of information? Is it good? Is it worth trying something like this? And if the consensus is no, then leave it alone rather than go and test it myself. So yeah, I probably could have saved quite a lot of time and a lot more money, but here we are. Networking.
Good answer.
Cheers, mate.
I would have preferred you to say synergising.
Yeah, I was going to say synergy.
I didn't want to steal your thunder. Didn't want to steal your thunder.
All right. So if I had to start over, well, okay, I've been pretty much black or gray hat SEO from the beginning. So as being a conservative person, I was always scared of penalization. And I would diversify with multiple sites over and over again. So even right now, I have 45 money sites, and it tends to be a little bit of a headache. And there's more management involved, more project managers involved, more PBNs to worry about and whatnot. So this time around, I would actually just go with more authority sites. Like Charles, you've given me this advice before, like instead of going with rinky-dink little small sites, do like bigger authority sites and everything just ranks easier because of the authority. I'm starting to do that more now, but I think the reason I'm okay with doing it now is just like, even though as a gray hat SEO, even though I'm using PBNs, like I've still only had one penalty in my entire life, and I got it lifted in 3 weeks. So I don't know. I guess there's not much to lose when the penalties don't really exist, and I would just go bigger and save myself less headaches.
I was going to add to the penalty thing actually. I was just going to say, for all the white hatters out there, I missed so many opportunities by not being brave enough and not being confident enough in the techniques that I was using and holding back, because I was afraid of burning good sites that we've put a lot of money and development into, and now I just go for it. And again, you know, I've not actually had a penalty other than stupid, you know, that I expected to get one on. You know, it's it's been all good. So just go out there, and things can be reversible, or you just move on to the next thing. So just be braver with it all, I think.
Yeah, so if I was starting from scratch, and let's say I had like very limited monies, so I had like no cash, I would probably start with client SEO, as that's probably like the easiest way, right, to make cash. So you go to businesses, like even if you have to phone businesses or walk into businesses, help them with their social media, help them with their SEO, whatever, just to get cash. You can probably get up to like 5-10 grand a month pretty easily doing that. And when you have the cash flow, I would probably go for paid traffic, since I did SEO for a long time, and it takes capital and it takes a lot of time. I mean, like all of us do SEO, we make good money with it, but I would probably go for like affiliate marketing with paid traffic, maybe info products down the line, to build like a sustainable business. Like SEO can be good, especially for client stuff, I think. Just for the long term, like we all deal with penalties. Like I know you guys said like you didn't get penalties and stuff, but like your income can go from 0 to like nothing overnight, right? Like you've said those things. So those are part of the risks. Why I kind of suggest client SEO, although it's not the easiest, is because like even if something happens to Google or something happens to Facebook, they're still paying you to fix it, right? So you can kind of solve that, and then from there you can do whatever, like as long as you have a base income. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say.
So if I was starting from scratch, I would probably try to figure out what I want to do. If it was some sort of like internet marketing, whether it's SEO or Facebook ads or AdWords or something, I would probably try to find some sort of mentor and pay for mentorship with someone, or maybe trade my time to work for that person for free in exchange for some sort of mentorship, and just to basically cut the learning curve way down, you know, so you don't have to go through all the mistakes, and you know, it could prolong your learning curve. But anyways, that's probably what I would do.
I think all of us would probably do the same thing.
Yeah,
definitely. Why not?
But that's good to keep in mind, right? There's a lot of people, like we're doing this for people starting out. So, you know, if you don't know, like go find someone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Jim Dooley.
How are we doing? How are you doing? 100% I'd definitely agree with Adam on getting a mentor. There's so much information out there when you're first starting out. You waste, I don't know, I think I've wasted two to 3 years of my life trying to listen and trying to read other people's stuff, and a lot of it, what I've learned over the years, wasn't correct. I'd second what Diggy said with regards to the paid ads. I can't believe I've never got into it earlier. Being able to leverage retarget your traffic that you're getting to your site on Facebook and doing Facebook ads and PPC ads, it's instant money. It's pretty much guaranteed money if you're good at what you're doing. You're almost being an accountant, so what you're doing is you're spending 2, 3, 5, 10 grand a week. If you're getting 15, 20 grand back, you know you're doubling your money. You can keep doing that. Probably do more lead gen. I'd probably steer away from, I know you said about the client kind of thing, I'd probably steer away, just because I don't know whether it's bad clients that we've had, but the clients we have had, if we've done really well for them, they still mither. Like, how have you managed to get the results and then still want to have a meeting of what you've done, why you've done it, how you've done it, and the rest of it kind of thing. So if you are going down the client route, Dino Gomez, San Diego's got an absolute amazing contract that he draws up to say they can't physically speak to him. They have to email him and he'll get back to them within 24 hours. I think if you are going down the client route, I'd 100% take that approach. Just because then you are the master of your own destiny. You can do what hours you want to do. So how he was saying it, where you might want to do 3 or 4 hours in the morning, then go for a run down the beach, or go to the gym and have 2-3 hours off, but then come back to work at night and whatever shifts he wants. He knows he has to get through his emails that he needs to get through, whether that's 3, 4, 10 hours a day. He knows he needs to get through them, and he can do it on whatever hours he wants to do. So it's not a 9 till 5 job. He can do it anywhere in the world. So if he's travelling, if he might be on the plane and they're trying to ring him, they might not be able to get back to him. But if the contract says, I'll get back to you within 24 hours, then you get back to him within 24 hours. And then give back, network, give back. When you're giving back to other people, it's amazing what, and it's not just giving back to get stuff in return, but generally you do. It's almost a case of when you follow someone on Twitter, you'll get a follow back. But if you help and advise someone of some stuff that's gone wrong, what you've done and what you've learned, further down the line, 2-3 months down the line, they've probably come across something that you're trying at the time. Like Matt, prime example, tests absolutely everything. So when Matt turns around to me and says, do this with your PBNs, do that with your PBNs, I don't need to test it because Matt's tested it. But when someone else on the PPC side of things comes to me saying, you don't want to go after these keywords, these aren't the right ones, they're saving me a fortune. Now I do everything I can to give back to them, whatever I can do. So if I find out something with regards to location-based sites or keywords that do well in their niche, I'm going to go out my way then to help back. So again, like what Mark said with regards to networking, 100% agree. The networking and the synergising is a massive advocate. That's what I always promote. And it is. Everyone wins then. It's a win-win situation. Trying to help others out and you'll benefit yourself. So that's what I do. So the question is, put on the spot, Dirk, Say one thing that you've learned that you've never told anyone.
About you, or?
Matt's thinking, shit, what can I say?
I guess the biggest thing that I learned that took me a long time to figure out and cost me a lot of money is that, like, you still have to do the work yourself. Like, no matter which mentors you have, no matter how much you pay. Like, I've paid, like, for masterminds $5,000, $10,000 and stuff, and think it would be like, oh, this is gonna help me make money. But even if you pay that money, you get the information, but you still have to do the work, right? You still have to put it into action. So even if you have access to people like making millions of dollars and that you can like contact on Skype and stuff, like, you're still gonna have to do the work. No one's gonna do it for you. And I think this is a big lesson that, like, everyone has this. Like, they start out and they think, oh, I'm going to buy this course and, you know, I'm going to make money. But 95% of people think that, and they end up not making money because they think, like, people are going to do it for them, right? And it's just not the case. So while it's, like, it's simple to make money online, it's definitely not easy. It's just like any business. And you have to put in a lot of time and effort and, like, work days and nights and sometimes months or years to get to a point of success. So,
Good answer.
Nice. What's the question? Okay. Something I've learned that I haven't shared with anybody. Okay, so doing SEO for almost 10 years now, one thing I've definitely learned is that sounds pretty obvious, but it always gets harder. So the easiest day to do SEO, the easiest it's ever going to be is today, July 13, 2017. Tomorrow it's going to be harder. Next month it's going to be harder. Next year it's going to be much, much harder. So, like, it's in your best interest to go as hard and fast as you can right now. So don't hold back on, let's see, okay, I will just launch like one site this month when you knew you could have done 3, because it's just going to be harder down the road. The time is now to invest in this making money online or SEO or whatever you're kind of trying to do. And this applies to all the different industries. It's SEO, FBA. You talk to any FBA, fulfillment by Amazon guy, and they just say it's just getting harder and harder. Amazon's taking more from us. Drop shipping's gotten harder. All of the above's gotten harder. So basically, if you're holding back, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. So invest all you can and capitalize while the time is here.
Nice. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank there, so I'm going to pass the stick until I've thought of something.
I'm going to ask what the question was again.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm drawing a blank.
What was the question?
I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, I was going to ask the same.
Share something you've never shared with anybody else that you know. Little secret.
Dirty little secret.
2-in-1. GSA is still viable if you use the right settings.
GSA still works.
Yeah, but yes, but I don't recommend using it. We're doing tests at the moment still, and it has had pretty good effect using Word AI Turing Spinner's content, because they have an API which you can plug straight into the GSA SER now, because the company behind GSA, which is the German company that I've forgotten the name of, have actually released a tutorial on how to manually install the API into your GSA thing from Word AI. So the content that you're getting out is readable, and it's actually of decent quality, and you don't have to pay anything apart from the Turing AI spinner fee, which is like $99 a month.
So your tier 1.
So basically, So basically, what we do is we create the Web 2.0s using SER engines, which is another plugin into GSA SER. This is going to get really technical, and then we build links we build like citation links. Social bookmarks, and then like a few other ones, but we use the SEMrush API to see what level of organic traffic the sites are getting. So we only build sites that have got over 1,000 visits a month from SEMrush's API. So any links that we're building at the tier 2 to our tier 1 Web 2.0s are all from decent sites. They're not from sites that Google have recently hit against or had a penalty ever really against them. And we've actually been seeing some pretty good results from it, and like we've been ranking
on that, your tier 1 that you can do that, or do you not do manually each one?
No, No, you can do it. You just do it with so basically you scrape your list and then you run it through SEMrush API, and it pulls back all the site in an Excel document, and then you go through and remove any ones that don't have over 1,000 searches, and then you put those back into SER, and it's been ranking pretty well for like some medium-term competition keywords. Some that go up to like 12,800 monthly searches and things, which is actually pretty decent. And in the entire cost of the campaign, it's like $250 or something, which is the cost of 5 of Diggity's PBN links for the month. So it does pretty well. Yeah, and also SAPE is still viable as well, and actually SAPE's really powerful at the moment, and a lot of people just aren't using it. So
Get out of here. Right. And just for the record, Diggity's links are still amazing, and they're much better than GSA and SEO. Black hat.
Now we go from black hat to white hat.
Well, do you know what? I was just going to say, Charles, you stole my thunder there, because I was going to say I'm a white hat and I use SAPE. Boom. Yeah, like it's really good actually. There's a lot of junk in there, of course, but if you vet the sites, vet the links, check their metrics out, you can get some really good links through there. And I'm using them for for powering things up, like guest posts and things even. So yeah, you just have to look through and trawl through all the junk to get to some really good stuff. We've got a site up. When we first started using it, I thought this is going to tank, but I'm going to do it anyway, just for entertainment purposes. They're still there, and it's killing it, really, isn't it? So on to Dooley.
On to Adam.
All right.
I said 9, yeah.
All right, so I'll share just a little tip about finding VAs. I've heard a lot of people in the internet marketing industry, I think, have tried in the past to hire VAs, like out of the Philippines, for instance. And I would say most people, they probably go to like onlinejobs.ph, and a lot of those, not all, but a lot of those people, the really good people probably have full-time jobs already, and a lot of the other people, they might have 4 full-time jobs, you know what I mean? So they're, you might think you have them full-time and you really don't. So just like a tip out there that probably a lot of people that I've talked to don't really know is, if I was trying to hire a VA, I would try to find someone who hasn't worked online before, and I would a lot of people there, when they look for jobs, they look in the local newspapers, so I would pay for an ad in the local newspaper, and you're probably going to find maybe a lot more success there, someone that will work with you, and they've not worked online before, so there's probably a better chance that they're going to be a better fit. Also, you can contact like local universities and stuff for like fresh graduates and stuff like that, and usually they have like job posting boards, and you can find fresh grads who probably haven't worked online, and I think it'd probably work better than the traditional way.
Yeah, like you were saying, finding good VAs is super hard, especially in those where the supply and demand is basically not in your favor. One thing that I've found is go look in countries where they have a high amount of expats, especially countries that have a lot of English teachers, right? So take Thailand, where I live, for example. You'll have a lot of people that just fled their home countries. They just want to get out of their system and live in tropical paradise. So how do they make money when they get there? They usually end up teaching English. That's a rough job, and they typically only get paid $1,000 a month. So if you tap into that market, here you are with people with college degrees, native English speakers. They can accept a lower salary because they just need enough to live in their tropical paradise, and it's solid work for them. It's just got to think outside the box on this kind of thing, and like you were saying, like go for the classified ads in the local papers. Yeah, check out cities like Saigon. I don't know what else. Definitely Chiang Mai, Thailand, Bangkok, Thailand, Philippines, like any city there, and like go to the Facebook groups and just find like digital nomad groups or find jobs. And here you are. You got English-speaking VAs at a very good price.
How would you find the expats?
How do you find them? Well, like every one of these cities has a Facebook group for people that are like expats. So like Chiang Mai has Chiang Mai Digital Nomads, Online Jobs Chiang Mai. Yeah, there's tons of them. They're just escaping my name. But yeah, that's basically anyone you talk to when you're making an order on Diggity links, you're talking to an ex-English teacher. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'll give you one. Synergize, yeah. I've never told anyone, right, but I'm a massive believer of synergy. So something we're having great results with is every decent guest post that you have, or every supporting article that you spent time on, is paid ads, is drive traffic to them articles. Facebook ads, it might be £5 worth of Facebook ads. Go and get it in front of you, create your custom audience, create who you want to get it out to. They naturally will, if they see the Facebook ad that you're writing about, being intrigued to see what the article's about, they'll click onto it, they'll spend time on your site, they'll follow the links through to whatever you want to link through to, or again, it's just spending time on your site, or they'll like it, they'll share it, they'll tag their friends in. It's just generating, you're getting yourself in front of the customer audience. There's a lot of news articles and stuff that they don't even know about your website. Some of these articles aren't going to rank, especially for big keywords, so they're not really going to be searching for what your title is. But if you positioned that title in front of them on Facebook and on places like Twitter and LinkedIn and stuff like that, they would be intrigued to read it, which is time on site. Time on site's massive at the moment. It's improving your metrics. If you can internal link them through to them downloading something or subscribing to you to go, actually, do you know what, this is a great article. So my prime example is every time you do a new article is that you've got a massive following anyway, but every new article that you do, if you can try and position it, that if you're doing one on social media in front of social media experts, they might come across and go, I've never don't know who Matt is, kind of thing, and start subscribing and see everything else. It's just more, it's building up your subscriptions. Charles, you're a great advocate of it, of building up your subscriptions all the time. Just generate as much traffic as you can, and like you said, everything we've started to do now is trying to drive traffic through paid, because it's still trying to rank it organically, obviously, but it helps in ranking it organically by paying a little bit. You're talking, it's $3 to $5, something like that. It's nothing. That's our biggest one that I've never shared, but there you have it. And synergize.
It's making money online a scam.
Big time, yeah. Don't make money online. It's SEOs are a load of crook. Don't do PPC, but synergize. Any others? What we're thinking?
So you're building traffic to your tier 1 links, like funding traffic from other sources, right?
Yeah.
Did you send them to
Well,
yeah. If a PBN is a real website, I don't believe in a PBN. I see it as being, yeah. So if I look at any PBN, it's linking to my site. If it looks like a PBN, I don't want it. So it's a real website, it's a real link to my site. Okay. So if that PBN, and none of that is that I don't want Word AI is quite good for GSA, a tier 2 or a tier 3 link, but my tier 1 links I want to be real pages giving value that then people are actually going to, who's been onto that site is going to click through to my site. So for me, I used to be a massive advocate of tier 4, tier 5 links, doing GSA, doing say powering up my tier 2s and my tier 1s, and I'd have a tier 1 link, so you go and get a guest post, and then next minute you go and syndicate it for an ITTT and syndicate it out for your Tumblrs, your Weeblies, your Rebel Mouse, stuff like that, and then power it up with GSA and say, my powering up now of tier 2s and tier 3s is traffic.
Right.
Generate traffic through to these sites that are real sites giving real value in front of people who are interested in what you're writing about.
So traffic to that property is becoming almost as important as the link metrics, the authority of that property, right?
Yeah.
So would you prefer a DA30, excuse me for working off DA, but a DA30 versus a DA10 that gets traffic? Which would you take?
Traffic.
You take traffic over authority. All right.
The reason why I'd prefer a DA30 with traffic, obviously.
Yeah.
But DA30 doesn't mean anything in Google, because DA30 is what a made up metric. It means that the site of the domain has got some authority. But I would sooner have a PA of one that's a new page that's got some traffic and traffic links than I would thinking. But it's more that it's not just about the traffic going through to it, it's actually you positioning your website in front of your customer who you want to sell to.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So you're actually going to get sales. What the reason why you try and rank is to get sales. Yeah? So you want to rank for new casino sites, and you position yourself and you talk about a casino, and you go, by the way, if you want to look at all the latest casino sites, if they're a poker player, right, and they're interested about how the brain works on poker, right, they're going to sign up, they like playing poker online, so they want to sign up to a casino site. So if you then go, by the way, here's 10 latest casino sites that's just come out, you're driving traffic to that page that you might sign up a new casino player. Instead of then just keep thinking, I need to rank my site for new casino sites. You're leveraging traffic from all angles. Basically an effective frequency.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've got a big client who, I was supposed to be providing followed guest posts for them. This editor on a high authority site followed the link, and I was going to refund the client and say, like, sorry, I'll let that one go. And they're like, no, it's cool, it's on a big site, it's going to get click-through traffic, and they were okay with that, like being a no-follow link. So,
and plus it's good having a mix of do follow.
Of course,
obviously you want to do follow to pass the link juice through, but
cool.
So what about?
What would you sooner have? Would you sooner have, obviously you want the link juice, but would you sooner have link juice that goes through to the money site, obviously, or would you sooner have real sales and traffic? Or would you, obviously you'd sooner have both, but if you had to choose.
If you had to choose, just real traffic going to the money site and buying your shit, right? Like, that's what we're doing this for anyways. That's the only reason we care about organic SEO, is just to get real traffic to buy our shit, or to go to our customer sites and sign up for their services and whatnot. So yeah, I'd go for that first. But it's actually interesting, like, you're one of the only people outside like my close circle that has been talking about traffic as a ranking factor, and I couldn't agree more. Right, it's a huge ranking factor, and if we just think about it very logically, right, Google's goal is to give people what they want to see. What's the best indicator of what people want to see? What they're already looking at, the traffic, right? So it's just if we think about things, I've talked about this before, but if we think about things, like, a link is really rare in the real world, right? Like, let's imagine this coffee shop. It's probably got a website. What's this place called? Coffee and Coconuts?
Yeah, coffee.
That's going to fall. Coffee and Coconuts probably has a website somewhere. How often do you think this coffee shop links out to other websites during the course of a year? Freaking twice? Yeah, it's very, very rare. But then we have something like Social Signals, and this coffee shop probably posts something on Facebook once per day, maybe even more than that. If any kind of band is like performing here, they're going to talk about it. Any kind of promotion going on, they're going to talk about it on Facebook. But then at the end of the day, like, so you should have more social signals than links, but also you need to have more traffic than both of those, right? Very, very simply, no one's going to link to something they haven't visited, so you need more traffic than links. No one's going to share something on Facebook that they haven't visited as well. If you share a funny cat video on Facebook, it's because you watched the damn thing. So there's always more traffic than social signals and links, and this we call it the golden ratio at LeadSpring, but it always needs to be respected and honored. You need to have that traffic. Think of it like as this whole ranking thing's like an engine. The traffic is your gasoline, and that's why I respect your opinion a lot in SEO, because you get that and you honor that, and you're doing clever stuff like sending traffic to tier 1. It's brilliant and it works. You're getting good results. Yeah, for sure.
I've got two expansions on both your points. The first one, to expand on your point as well, is search intent is so much more important than search volume. So, for example, like I said about the people who are searching for this place, if someone, for example, because we're in Amsterdam, if someone searches for this place, you want to rank for coffee near me, not coffee shop near me, because you have two very different intents in Amsterdam. About paid social. Oh yeah, a lot of people don't know this actually, but the biggest poker affiliate in the world is a site that doesn't, it ranks really well for poker-related keywords, but it doesn't rank anywhere for top poker sites, best poker sites, anything like that at all. It's actually, I think his name's Daniel Pedrosky or something. He owns pokerstrategy.net or pokerstrategy.com. Yeah, that site does about 5 million organic visits a month. Absolutely smashes it, but doesn't rank anywhere near for any keywords related to best poker sites, anything like that. It's all ranking for how to learn Texas Hold'em hands, all that kind of stuff, and then it funnels people through into his course. Exactly. He gives them tons of free information in his course, and then at the bottom of that course, or throughout the course as well, he has his recommended sites that he signs up to get rate back and things. If you play poker, you can understand what all that stuff means. Even though rake is imaginary, but that's a different debate for a different time. And it's essentially that you don't actually have to rank anywhere near the keywords that most affiliates actually go after. Review keywords, for example, review keywords, they're pretty good, but we've seen a lot higher conversion rates on free information in your guides than we have on like review keywords and stuff that we rank for, even though it's the exact same page, which is kind of bizarre. But it's all about psychology with people, and I think that's why I like Kurt Phillips so much, and that's why I've been speaking to him so much recently, is because he's got a really decent understanding of consumer psychology, and that's something I think Kurt Phillips.
Oh, Kurt, yeah.
I think he has a really deep understanding of consumer psychology, and that's something that I'm really interested in, and it actually plays a massive role in SEO because search intent is so much important. It's so much more important than just search volume as a whole. And a lot of people try to go after a 50,000 month search keyword, but you can rank for a 500 month search keyword, and you'll get a way higher conversion rate and a way higher amount of commissions every month from those 500 month searches than you will off another one. For example, and I'm going to oust myself here as well on one of my niches. We do hosting affiliate, which is like really competitive and everything, but actually, and some people didn't copy me now, we started ranking for dedicated server reviews, dedicated server hosting, all those kind of stuff, rather than going after just generalistic hosting. And there was way less competition. Like, for example, in the main hosting niche, we have competition from people like PC Mag, from like huge sites. Whoishosting.com have millions of unique visits a month. Whereas in the dedicated server niche, there was like 3 reviews that I could find for the entire thing, and the average commission was $450. So we ranked a page pretty much within a month or so, and that page straight away is now making like $15,000 a month from very, very little effort and very little effects, and you can probably go and find that page now. But yeah, I don't mind too much. So that's the best one that I can recommend there.
Yeah, man. Just a quick one on that as well, is that touching on with regards to the poker strategy of what he does, that's a great idea. And there's quite a few of the biggest sports betting people in the world who's getting the sports affiliates for like Betfair, Bet365, Ladbrokes, Coral. When you're speaking to a lot of these who have got sites worth 30-40 million pound, they don't actually rank for best sports betting sites and then send them through that way. What they're actually doing is they're doing articles about Andy Murray's playing Roger Federer at Wimbledon this week and what great value Andy Murray is because of the history behind it all. And again, real people are visiting that. They don't know at the time that they want to have a bet on Andy Murray. They're being positioned and they're reading the article and going, oh, I completely agree with what that tipster's saying. I'm going to now have a bet on Andy Murray at 6-4 to beat Roger Federer at Wimbledon because stats tell me that it's going to happen. So they don't, the physical search behind, they're not going into Google going best betting sites. They're being found through paid ads from Facebook, or they're getting found just generally through a news article that is subscribed to a tipster who's giving in the US Open why you'd back Rory McIlroy and the reasoning behind it, and then going, by the way, here's the best free bookies sites and odds where you can bet on Rory McIlroy this weekend. So again, it's about what a massive thing that we're looking at is called effective frequency. I did an article on it on one of my sites. That it was just trying to get found in so many different ways where they're not physically typing it in, you're presenting something in front of them. It's like, what's the 10 best things to do in Amsterdam? You don't know that you might want to go on a Segway around Amsterdam until you've been positioned something in front of you to go, by the way, doing a Segway in Amsterdam is absolutely amazing, it's really fun. The next minute you go, oh, come on, let's go on a Segway around Amsterdam. You've not typed in Segway Amsterdam, you've typed in what can I do in Amsterdam and then been positioned that way. Same with betting tips, you've been positioned in a way that it's not having to go after the 10,000 monthly searches that you think everyone's then signing up on best betting sites kind of thing, because a lot of the time it's competitors looking at that, keep typing it in to see who's ranking and clicking onto it. So a lot of the search volume for them isn't really what you need to be ranking for. It is the long tails, like you said, going after the ones that convert. There's a lot of the affiliates, we were at the gambling affiliate this week, there's a lot of them that have niched down and they've done exactly what you said, we're dominating the niche. You'll find that some of the bigger key phrases don't make the money. It's some of the ones where you're going after cosy slot sites and you're like, well, what's even cosy? But the players know they want to play a cosy skin because they enjoy playing that type of game. They're already an existing player, they're already an existing slots player online. They know exactly what they want. The buying intent's there behind it that they're turning around, and they might only get 150 searches a month, where slot sites in general might get 3,000, but they know that them cosy players are good players. Do you know what I mean? And you know the buying process, they're so far down the line, they know they're already playing it, so they're not going to be like, ooh, do I, don't I? They know that they want the cosy site because they know that they give these bonus functions on free spins or whatever, and then the conversion of that is going to be so much better. Like you said, the buying intent straight away behind it. Exactly, yeah. So your metrics again is your traffic that's coming on there, spending time on your site, and you've got to remember Google's trying to move as far away as they can. They never will be able to move away from links, but they try and do everything they can to move away from links, but they're never going to be able to do it. But they're trying to bring in traffic and metrics and the rest of it. So as SEOs who's trying to rank, and you give them what they want, give Google what they want, which is links, good content, traffic, low bounce rate, good user experience, happy days. And we've, exactly what you said with regards to the link process, is the big thing of what this is a made up metric, by the way, so do not follow this guide, but we try to go down the 139, which is trebling it each time. So we'd like to have 9 clicks on a site that gets 3 social shares that then gets 1 link. It should be more than that, but we definitely don't want to turn around and do a GSA blast that gets 5,000 links and that site's only had 200 visitors, because it doesn't make sense that 5,000 people have shared that site when it's only had 200 visitors. So we kind of always make sure there's more traffic than social shares than links. That's generally what we work to. It should probably be more than that. It should be more like 120, 100, but something that we've just tried to go down the finger of, that we make certain that we used to be black hatters, we used to GSA fuck out of size, but now we don't. We'd still do, to be fair, but see a 40, we just use it for indexing. But yeah, I get what you're saying with the filters, but at indexing level it helps the mass page location based sites.
Interesting. I got a follow-up question for all you guys. I think everyone in this group, even you, Gareth, is both white hat and gray hat. So for a beginning site, if we're honoring this golden ratio where we need to have more traffic than social signals and links, what do you do when a site is first starting out and it has no traffic, right? A lot of people say, okay, big question I get all the time is, my site's very young. Is it okay to use PBNs already? In my opinion, I like to use PBNs at the beginning because it's a very, very low link velocity. When you're doing a white hat outreach campaign, they can flood in, as you probably experienced, and I know Charles gets links for days when he does outreach campaigns. So is it better to do gray hat PBN at the beginning, or is it better to do white hat and build a base of real links before you hit it with the PBNs? What do you guys think?
Personally, for me, you made a good point there about with white hat stuff. it's much harder to control the velocity. Sometimes you can send out a campaign, an outreach campaign for example, it can go really well and you'll get a ton of links back, more than you expected, and then sometimes you can be short, like you got a lot less. So velocity, I guess that's one of the benefits of grey hat, black hat. You've got more control over the profile and so on. Personally, I learned this from Charles. Start white hat and then start slowly drip feeding more riskier links into the profile, just because it's a smaller percentage of the overall volume there. But that works for me. But also, white hat links more expensive, so it can be hard to get that initial velocity going. So horses for courses, I guess.
Well, no, I start on. Well, yeah. That's only for link building though. But I start white hat because I do everything on page white hat. So I make the entire site itself like a genuinely good site to actually rank on. Because that's the best basis to make your site look clean and make it the best resource in the SERP. So that's why I try to just make sure that I outdo the content of everyone else. So if the number one post is 3,000 words, I make mine 5,000, and Google loves long form content at the moment more than anything else. I'll rank a site page 2 for like a 10,000 word search keyword just because I've done that 5,000 word article instead of a 3,000 one on like an aged, nice, kind of authoritative domain. So it's just that basis straight away off there. But then I do black hat because it's so much cheaper. And then once the site's actually making money, and it's making the money that I have enough budget to be able to rank that site using my tactics. So say the site's making now $10,000 a month, I'll have that budget there that I can then expand into using white hat, and I'll slowly delete the PBN links. I'll slowly try and, to be honest, quite sometimes I've actually disavowed some links because the site that I've started doing the black hat on, I built in like 2013, 2012, and now it's like a few years down the line and I want to restart on it again, and I want to build it out because I know it's already ranked and doing well. I want to future-proof that site, so I will literally just be like, okay, I'll admit to what I did in 2012 and I'll just get rid of these links because they are shit now and they're not going to do anything but hurt my site in the future. But it's only when the site's making enough money to justify it, because I'm all about ROI. Like, I don't like spending money unless I know I'm going to get that money back now. So apart from on clothes and whatever, but that doesn't matter. And then just blast it all everywhere. But no, that's literally, I think starting off black hat because it is so cheap at the moment. Like, I buy links off Todd for $40, $50 for a PBN link. It's going to be on the homepage for 12 months. That's ridiculously cheap. You can't get a guest post link for that cheap anywhere else unless you put in an extraordinary amount of time. And I could not be asked for that. It just can't be asked to do extremely long white hat campaigns until it actually gets to that point. So that's why I get the amount of money that I can have first to be able to reinvest into the site.
I guess just to feedback on that, I guess at least with a brand new asset as well, if you start in black hat, if it gets burned, you've not invested that much. But the other way around, there could be a lot of value in that.
And the site might not actually make money, so that's what I mean. So it could be a dud niche, or the niche could suddenly change, or the affiliate network could suddenly drop off. And if I've done a white hat campaign, it's very likely that I'll have invested $10,000, $20,000 into the site over a few months. Whereas a black hat campaign, $2,000, $3,000 can rank you for medium to high competition keywords all day long. So I actually, it's kind of almost a field test using black hat, and then once it's actually ranked and once it's making money, that's just when I'll swap over.
So I just wanted to expand a bit about what Charles said about the keywords, where the volume is not the most important thing. And so, like, for example, I had a business where I was selling solo ads, right? So if you look at a keyword, something like in a business, like weight loss solo ads or like dating solo ads and stuff, like the volume of that is like nothing, right? It's maybe like 100 searches a month. Right. And the competition is nothing also. You can rank for that with like 5 links. But if you run a business and you have an email list selling solo ads, like keywords like that have made me 10, 20 grand from like one customer, right? Because you're selling clicks, people are looking for traffic, and that's just like keywords that no one thinks to go after. Like everyone's going for like how to lose weight and stuff like that. But if you're selling traffic or you're selling a service, even probably like PBN link service, stuff like that, those are keywords that don't mean much. But if you have the business, those kind of keywords can return like 5 figures and stuff.
See what you think of that. Apologies, I can screenshot that. So that's the customer decision. Maybe if
I don't know if you did. Yeah, hold it in front of the camera.
This is good, following up on what you're saying.
Maybe you want to...
Yeah, so this is the customer decision journey, which has been mapped out by some marketing like psychologists, university researchers, and it's the stages that a customer goes through when they're making a purchase. Stage one, I'll screenshot it. Stage one, awareness of need. Can you help me? So first of all, you need to tell them that they need something to solve a problem. They need a tripod to support their camera when they're filming. They don't know. They just need. Their problem is, my camera is shaky. The solution is, right, okay, try a tripod. Followed by consideration and research. At this stage, they've identified various options and they're looking and they're doing their purchase research about the pros and cons of each option. Interest, so they've honed in on a brand or a maker or a model and they're going out there and learning a bit more about the background of that. Preference, about where to buy it from, what retailer to use and so on. Purchase, that's going into the actual transaction, and then after that the loyalty, the ongoing support, and email lists and so on. The customer loyalty there. I map my keywords out for a site based on this process, and as you can see here, I'll put this on the screen, but we've got different types of content, on-site content that you can have, from infographics, memes, tips and tricks, quizzes, videos, imagery, how-to guides, social media, newsletters, FAQs. There's a ton of stuff in here supporting content that you can use to assist the buyer during that transaction. So it's worth doing. I segment my keyword research out based on this, and then produce content, whether it's category page, product page, supporting blog posts and creative linkable assets based on this timeline. So worth following, worth trying out.
I just wanted to throw some out on this link velocity thing. I don't know what you guys reckon. Well, actually, a couple of things. I wanted to answer your question first about a traffic link versus the two options being a link from a site which is DA30, which gets no traffic organically, or a link from a DA nothing, which happens to get 500 visits every day. And with the new Penguin, Google have said that they're going to be devaluing links algorithmically, so it's not necessarily going to be down to a manual review. If there's one great shit test to see whether it's going to be a good link or a bad link, it's going to be, does the site rank organically? Google obviously likes the site if they're giving it organic traffic, so you can use tools like SimilarWeb, SEMrush to find out if the site as a whole that you're looking to get the link from receives traffic. And I've been quite pedantic really about links to a new site that I launched with our man Richard Hope back in December. We've probably only built about 40 links, but they're really high quality. We've paid quite a lot for the links, but they vary from outreach to just good PBNs. All of the links are from sites that get traffic, and in 6 short months we're getting about 100 visits a day to a payday loans website, which, as a lot of people will know, is pretty competitive. No filler links whatsoever, just 30 or 40. No, don't be like that. We find most of our links, I'll steal them. In terms of Matt's question, link velocity, I'm not convinced it's as simple as link velocity anymore. So maybe once upon a time, if you timed it and just drip fed the links that you were building to a site, it'd stay under the radar, which is great, and then you still get all of the link juice. Now I think I tend to look at things in terms of, can these links be justified? So if it's a launch of a site, is it natural for a new business to get 100 links all at once, bang? I don't see why not. Local publications, they might syndicate a story about the launch of a new service in the area. It might get some national press coverage. So yeah, press release, that's a great way to get some, a high quality press release, not one of your usual $70. No, I'm not saying they don't work. I just don't play with them. Don't be like that. You're so negative, SEO. And you know, I think one thing that would raise a red flag would be if on the 1st of every month exactly you have a subscription to get 50 PBN links, just on the 1st of every month, you know. So I look at things now in terms of if somebody happens to dive deep within my site and reviews it, in terms of is the content good quality, is it offering value to the end user, are the links legit, I just want the site to be able to pass that review, and that's what I think of now first and foremost when I'm looking at a link, not so much velocity.
You're a wide sat now, aren't you?
I am, mate. I'm just very convincing black.
That's turned you.
Very convincing black.
No, well, actually, Google employees, and I'm pretty sure there's a patent around this as well, has talked about viral protection, which is basically, essentially, for example, if a page was to hit the #1 on Reddit, it's extremely likely that that page would get probably 500 to 1,000 links in the space of a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So there's actually signals that Google have put into the algorithm, and that's why those pages will immediately see massive traffic jumps.
So they're justified. Any links, therefore, are justified.
Yeah,
I think that's what it's
and
about.
that's literally, but you can manipulate that to an extent as well, because I've done mass Reddit submissions where it's literally gotten like 50 to 100 backlinks from Reddit and then blasted it with like 100 PBNs, and that wouldn't work normally without the Reddit stuff, but it did genuinely work, and it ranked really well for like quite a number of keywords in a very short amount of time because it had those signals, and we did some like social stuff with PBN Butler and things as well.
Yeah.
But it's all kind of just making it look as if the site has acquired those links that would normally look unnatural, but because of a certain way they've acquired these links, they look natural, which is like Reddit is the best one because it's the most easy to manipulate from my behalf anyway, and it's the easy signal that I can see of why a page would suddenly get so much traffic, and that's, I know for a fact that Google are using that as a way to see when a page is getting a ton more traffic when it's going kind of viral because it's being posted on Reddit. But yeah,
I think something else I mean, around the table here you've got some dirty black hats like Charles, and there's not really that many sites we've had penalised between us. Do you know what I mean? So it's
I've had more
people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's because you're promoting to others. You're doing PBN, so they manually come after you, thinking the only reason why they've done that is they've come after. It's clever. They've come after you. It's like the Interflora. They went after Interflora a week before Valentine's. Do you know what I mean? They've sent out a statement to say, I can close down your site whenever I want. But they've gone after someone like you because you're an influence, to then turn around, hopefully that you then would go running to everyone going, don't do PBNs, PBNs are dead, don't do PBNs, and you've not done, and they're probably pissed off with that you've not done that, because that's what their aim was, to go after Charles for. Where a lot of the others is, they're not as good as what you think, they're not as good at detecting spam and the rest of it. So the link velocities, like you just said, some sites can naturally attract 1,000 links in the day. Do you know what I mean? If it gets on the first page of Reddit for a massive key phrase, it can do. Or if they turn around and did start to hit and penalise sites, how easy it going to be? Don't do link building to your own site, just do a GSA blast to a competitor's site and you take over them if you're number 2. They can't. No, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, I'm saying it's unethical, but what I'm saying is they need to make certain that negative SEO isn't easy. So I just think what they've started to do is just devalue links, zero value on links, and that's where I feel there's indications that come in, like traffic, time on site and the rest of it. Links are still massive and the most important part, but like you said, what better indication than people spending time and going through to the site? That's why they'd love to have, they can't detect all the traffic, but they've got things like Chrome, they've got things like they can detect from Google Analytics and stuff. They've got that much data now that they can get enough traffic information to sites that they can start to include it in as part of the one of 250 ranking factors that there is out there. Do you know what I mean? So I just think the link velocity, to a certain degree, you've got to make certain that you are doing it as a gradual step, but it doesn't matter to a certain extent because of negative SEO. They've got to make certain that they can't just turn around and make it that I hit 3,000 links to a site, right, I'm now going to penalise the site. Does it deserve to be penalised? No, but if you turn around and built 3,000 links of zero value, you've gone and wasted whatever money you've spent on the GSA blast, where it says it's £200 for a GSA blast for 300 high quality links. If Google didn't fit the high quality links, it's getting zero value. You've just wasted £300. Do you know what I mean? They just come back round to now, instead of it being negative response, it's just they're doing so much of zero links, and that's where you've probably seen it more than anyone, Matt, with regards to your PBNs. If the PBNs aren't giving any value or anything like that, you're not seeing the jumps in the searches like you used to be able to. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, you'll know more. You do a lot more testing than me. I'm sitting here listening to everyone else and going, I'll take a bit of that information and a bit of that information and implement it, but
So the funny thing is I think like spam, GSA, like blog comments, scrape box spam, stuff like that, I think that stuff is getting truly ignored at this point. Anyone getting negative SEO lately? Like on all my sites, pretty much I get fucking negative SEO, and I don't even worry about it. I do disavows just because you get enough spam going to your site, manual reviewer is going to take a stop by eventually, so you got to disavow anyways. But with regards to PBNs, like I just finished a huge round of PBN testing, and they're not just ignored. They're straight up toxic when they're bad. You got a rankings here on your target test site, just boom, you send the wrong PBN, boom, negative movement. So as much as like we've heard Google say like we don't penalize for toxic links anymore, they're all just ignored, I have a lot of data saying they're just straight up toxic. So you got to be really careful in how you're setting up PBNs right now, how you're linking out from them, where you're getting them from. I just revamped my entire process. We did over 26 tests involving over 300 PBNs, and the shit we were doing 4 months ago is nothing like we're doing now because of this toxic stuff.
Yeah, I've seen it also where I've actually removed PBN links and my rankings have gone up, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone else seeing that kind of stuff? Yeah, toxic PBNs.
Some pages that you build links to, and then one day, boom, goes off, then you delete them.
Yeah, as Charles just say, yeah, you build links to a page, watch your rankings just tank, remove the links, and they come right back. Yeah, it's a real thing.
Question for you here, right? You're in, and it's question to you, Matt, right? And to Dirk, actually, right? You're in the casino niche. The reason why I'm using the casino, we're at the gambling affiliate conference. We've got 4 or 5 big competitors that are going up obviously against us. But it's hundreds, but there's 4 or 5 big players. 2 or 3 of these are just trying to reverse engineer. They're going into Ahrefs and Majestic and they're trying to reverse engineer what links they've got and grabbing all the links themselves, right? A lot of these players who are ranking very well have got their donation links, right? You go onto it, and when we went through and reverse engineered this week, they've got links on pages that are trust flow 50, citation flow 50, page authority 45, DA 50. Do you know what I mean? So you look at it from a metric. I know the metrics, and they're not Google metrics and the rest of it, but from a metric point of view, you go, bloody hell, these are good links, right? You can acquire these links for $50, right? But when you go on to the page, there's 200 of your competitors on there, and it's just a massive long list of everyone providing them links. These links are showing obviously in Majestic as their most powerful links and the rest of it, but obviously there's 200 kind of links on there, so it's getting diluted throughout all the 200 kind of sites. But these are ranking. Would you acquire those links at $50 each and go, well, follow the trend, go and do it, and if they do tank, then remove them at a later date? Because at the moment they're not tanking their sites, and at the moment they're doing well for all the other sites. Do you follow suit, or by you manually looking at it, you think it's on a page with 200 links that just you can see they're paying, they're donating $50? Do you follow suit because you know it's working, or do you think it looks spammy? What would you do in that industry? And bear in mind, the casino and the gambling is a bit of a spammy niche and stuff like that, but you're talking there's 40 or 50 of these types of links that they've got that look to me spammy because there's 200 links all there and a big long list, and you can pay $50 to get them, but it seems to be working, because a lot of these sites that are there are filling the first page for your big casino brands.
So it's a super good question. With most kind of stuff like this, I would follow suit, right? If you got people using Web 2.0s, I don't really use Web 2.0s, but maybe you need to integrate them in the mix to look like you fit in with the rest of the SERP. However, in this case, I've had conversation with people. Remember at LCT, we talked to Kapil, I believe his name is, and he was saying he was using EDU campaigns exclusively to rank. So this is a case study of someone who just uses EDU links and like massive outreach to get links from universities, the same kind of links you're talking about, and he says it just stopped working. So I think like maybe in this kind of situation, like the competition is ranking in spite of it, and they're ranking for other reasons. But I think this kind of ranking technique's probably played out. That said, I've never tested it myself. I've never been into like EDU campaign links and stuff like that. But I think that they've turned off the volume on how much that matters.
A lot of these are not particularly the EDU links. I get that, the guy thinks they're the charity ones, yeah. They're all on different IPs. They're all on a lot of the EDU links. They're the same links on multiple sites. It's almost like a press release of how he's doing it. So he's acquiring 150 links all at once, and they used to work well. They don't work anymore. These are charity links. These are like going on to different sites where there might be sports betting ones and stuff like that, but then they're turning around and going, actually my site gets quite a bit of traffic. So from an indication as well, it's getting, now this particular page probably isn't, because it's a /links page or donation page or whatever, but the site as a whole is ranking, it's still there, it's getting the traffic. So what you were saying, you're looking at it from a semi-point of view, the site's getting, that links might not be, but the site's getting traffic, it's, all the metrics are saying you should, but part you in your head, I might have just been too cautious. I suppose it's one of them, there's no right and wrong answer. It's one of them that you could say, do it, it could end up improving your rankings, and then 2 weeks time, if it gets it, you're like, well, I've done that.
But don't take temporary drops as well as a sign. So we built links before, and I'm pretty sure it's Google's like little, are you fucking with this kind of bit from them, and it's literally just you'll build some links to a page, and like a week later it'll just drop for like maybe a page, maybe 2 pages, but then 2-3 weeks after that it will just skyrocket straight to page 1, and I'm pretty sure it's Google testing you to see if you built those links and you're going to delete them, or you're going to do that so that they can tell 100% that it's unnatural. So I think even if your site does drop, or your page just drops for like 10-20 positions, don't take that as that being a bad link straight away, because trust me, I've done it before and I've waited an extra 2-3 weeks, and I'm glad I had, because it actually came back in a way higher position than it started on in the first place. And I think it is Google's just little test against your site.
Here's a quick question for you guys, and I'm sure this is a newbie question that comes up a lot. When you get a negative movement in the SERP, how long do you wait before you freak out and you do something about it? Because it happens all the time, right? You might log in today and see, okay, I just dropped from page 2 to page 3. When do you start taking it seriously?
Who's answering that?
I take it seriously. Well, if it's gone from page 2 to page nowhere and it's just been completely thing, then I'll probably hit the roof and panic. But if it's dropped for the course of a month or more than a month, that's normally when I start doing it. I'm a lot slower than I used to be when it comes to actually like doing things with sites and stuff. Like I still try and be. That being said, though, some people it'll take them 2 years to rank a site for what they're doing. I'm doing it in like 3 to 9 months now, but before I'd do it in like a month or 2 months. But it's just probably Penguin and various other link building algorithms getting more difficult. But I generally don't panic unless it's been a good month of a downward trend as well, and that's what I think the most important thing. It has to be an overall trend. It can't just be, oh, one keyword has dropped but the rest of them are up. That doesn't really make sense to me to panic about that. It has to be that the actual trend is all of the keywords are down, because because I can put other ones down to other things. For example, I have a page, I have a few pages that are like this, but this one example, it's a best page, so it has top, best, all those kind of different keyword variations, and I built links that were best, but it was falling for top related keywords. But then I built one link for top and it started rising for all them. So there's no real reason to panic unless there's an overall trend that it's actually going down.
Same here. So any
What would you do, Matt?
I freak out after 30 days as well. Yeah. 30 day, the whole 30-day freak out.
I think part of the reason is, the new Penguin, you very rarely get a total slap off the face of Google now. So if you picked up a link penalty, you're going to see a gradual drop off in traffic, in rankings, for the simple reason that your link's going to be picked apart one by one rather than it be just good night website. If you do have a complete drop-off in traffic, I think I work to a basic rule that you've probably got a manual action or it's random documents. Like Charles said before, just giving you a little test. And I'm not seeing it take anything longer than 30 days for that to stabilise after adding new links now. So, like Matt said, just a 30-day rule.